good day.
Good everyone.
Okay, good day, everyone. Welcome to the first English class. And today will be just a form of introduction to some things you need to know concerning studying and taking notes. So that's why we have the listing, the topic, study skills and note taking. There are things that are very important as a student in your academic journey. It's very important that you know how to take notes, how to study to get the best, because sometimes some people read and they don't assimilate, they just read, and while others do la cram la pour, they cram everything and pour it out, and that's not the best. So to be successful as a student, one has to acquire study skills to make them cope with the challenges of academic programs. In other words, in order to be able to understand or comprehend whatever you are reading is an intentional effort. You need to work towards it. It doesn't just happen. You need to make it happen. And then for you to be able to master that art of comprehension, of understanding whatever you are studying and then delivering the best in the time of your exam, you need to know some little things that people overlook most times. And we're going to take a look at some of those little things. And one of them are language skills. Now, what are language skills? The four language skills are reading, listening, writing, and speaking in no particular order. So those are the language skills we have, the four of them. And I won't bore you by going ahead to try to explain what all these are, but instead I'll go straight to how they can assist you, how they can help you study effectively and be able to achieve whatever you want to achieve during your reading session. Reading is, well, what's the definition of reading? Reading is reading. To read what is in a book and put it in. Listening, they are all self-explanatory, though that's not where we are going to, but these are the ones you need to know about, and then how to fully maximize them for whatever is your goal for your study. So quickly now, let's look at some factors that affect learning. For the best comprehension to take place, every student needs to take notes of the following. 1. The purpose for which you are reading, your focus, your interest, noise, place of study, and so many others. Now, all these are things that affect learning. Let's start with purpose. You ask yourself the first question: why am I actually reading this thing? Am I reading for recreation? Am I reading to learn and understand? Am I reading just for the knowledge? Am I reading for a particular exam or interview? So the reason why you are reading affects how you read. The reason why you are studying affects how you study. For instance, now, the way you read a novel or a storybook, which is for recreational purpose, is different from the way you are going to read your textbook. While reading a novel or storybook, you read at a very fast rate. Then you don't read it to retain anything in that sense of it, but you read it just to follow, for entertainment. But when you are reading your school textbook, you pay attention to detail. Whatever you don't understand, you go over it again, you reread, and all the rest. So the purpose of learning, the purpose of reading, the purpose of study affects how you approach it. Then your focus. What's your aim for reading? What do you want to get from it? Let me use a dictionary as an example. When you open a dictionary, your aim is not to read everything in the dictionary, but it's probably that you are searching for the meaning of a particular word, or you are searching for the spelling of that particular word. So you know your focus already. You know why you are holding that dictionary. The next thing you do is just to go straight to the particular word that you are looking for and check the pronunciation, the spelling, or what the meaning is. So that's focus. You need to have a focus. You don't just read ambiguously. There must be a reason why you are reading. Now, your interest. Everybody has different interests. The interest of a science student will differ from that of an art student, which will also differ from that of a commercial student. But then so many times people find themselves in the wrong areas, that they don't have interest in what they are reading. or what they are studying which is bad. You see someone made for arts in a science class, and then it now gives the person some challenges before the person can be able to cope with whatever such person is doing. And yeah, that's a very sad thing. But as I was saying, interest, you need to be have interest in what you are reading. You should, in fact, some people will tell you that even your educational books, don't read them just for exam sake, but read to understand and also read to know. Now, regular place of study, well, it is advised that you have a regular spot where you study. That once you have a regular spot, a regular posture, and a regular position where you study, your body gets automatically used to it. So whenever you put yourself in that position, whenever you put your body in that particular posture, your body automatically gets itself ready to read. But that's unlike when you have different, today you read in the parlor, tomorrow you read in the kitchen, the next day you read in the church, and in different ways. You read while lying down, you read while sitting up, you read while watching TV, you read while walking. Your body is not used to any of them, so you choose one reading habit and then make it constant. Now, to the most important part, study plan. There is no way you can succeed academically without studying. And then to study, you need to have a plan. You don't just, or gone are the days when you just carry a book and say I want to go and study, whereas what you are doing is reading. There's a difference between reading and studying, a very big difference. So you need to know the difference between the two so that you can make the most out of whichever one you decide to do. So let's look at some study plans that or some study conventions that people have developed over the years. I will look at about 4, but there are just so many of them. The first one is SQ3R, and what that means, that 3R is that it stands for 3 R's. SQ3R: survey, question, read, recall, and review. Then we have PQRST. Sorry for that error there. That one, last one is T. PQRST: preview, question, read, summarize, and test. Then the last one, OK4R. That's overview, key points, read, recall, reflect, review. Now, to break it down, let's start with SQ3R. SQ3R: survey. Survey is just to go over whatever you're about to read. If it's a textbook or your notebook, or even if it's a comprehension passage or storybook, whatever it is, you survey it. That is, just go through it, you look through it, flip through the pages. Not necessarily that you are reading, to get idea. If it's a storybook, now you get an idea of okay, how many chapters does it have, how many pages, how is it written, the text, is it bold, and the rest. If it's for your academic book, your survey should tell you, well, you should know the topic you are looking at, so it should tell you the different subtopics. So if you are looking at a topic like cell, for example, under it, while you are surveying, you look at, okay, definition. We have definition of cell, we have types of cell, whether it's plant cell or animal cell, cell structure, and so many of them. Even the differences between the plant cell and animal. So just different things. You look at the different subtopics under the particular topic you are looking at. Then question, you ask yourself questions. Some people, what they do is they write out some different questions. A very good example is when you are reading comprehension, especially for WAEC. Before you start reading, you go straight to the questions they have there under the comprehension passage. Get an idea of the question. It helps you to know what to look out for when you are reading. So when you survey, when you look at the passage, you just get an idea of what the passage is talking about. Then you go to the questions and then look, okay, so they're asking, what did Kunle do at so point? What happened to this person? Who did this and who did that? After that, you now move on to actually read the passage. This is where you now settle down and read it phrase by phrase, sentence by sentence, anyhow you read yours. And for whatever purpose you read, that is what will determine the speed of your reading. So you read, and then after that you set the book down. Give yourself a break, 5 minutes, not more than 5 minutes, even 3 minutes or 2 minutes, and then ask yourself questions from the places, from the passage you've read. What can you recall? And then after that, the ones you can't recall, you can now go back to the book to review. So this is basically what PQRST is. Also, you preview it, you ask yourself question, you read, but after reading now, you try to summarize. If you can get a piece of paper or something, summarize the things you've read without looking at the book, then ask yourself questions. Then okay, 4R overview is also the same thing as the preview. Key points, you note the important highlights of what you are about to read. What are the things I'm looking out for? You read, you recall, then you reflect. Reflect is just to think about the thing you've read. How can it be applied to real life or whatever situation you want to apply it to? And then you review what you've read. So let's move on to note taking. These are things that, should I say, common sense can tell anyone that while you are in a class and you want to make notes, number one, you must maintain hearing distance with whoever is talking. So if you want to get the best of your notes, I won't advise sitting at the back, because at the back there might be so much distractions. Then from the back, if it's being written on the board, you might not be able to see clearly, or anything can come in. So just make sure you are within a good distance between you and wherever you are taking the notes from, whether it's from a tutor or a lecturer speaking in front of the class. If your tutor is speaking, then make sure you have a good distance where you can hear every word he or she says. And if it's written, stay somewhere you can see whatever is written. Note the topic. Don't ever forget that. Note the topic so that you are guided, you know what exactly is being discussed. Get familiar with the tutor's style. There are so many ways you can do this. The way the tutor talks, some people, the word ABOUT, some people will say about, so others will say about, and do you understand? So the way that your tutor pronounces each word, the way they emphasize points and they get used to it, it will help you understand them better. Write legibly, but most importantly, write things you yourself can read and understand. Then you can also use abbreviations where necessary, because you are taking notes. If you are not submitting that notice for you to read, feel free to use abbreviations, especially when the lecture is being dictated, so that you'll be able to write fast enough. So long words like difference, you can use DIFF. Long words like even abbreviations, you can use AB. Just make sure you write something that you can understand. But if you can write in full and still be able to follow through with the dictation, then good for you. So we have come to the end of the class. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you in the next class. My name is Stgei.